I lost a couple weeks of putting the engine in the car because I had this engine done back in 2016 after I'd blown it up, and I had a reputable shop do the whole thing. The guy cut me a deal for $250 for all the engine work and reassembly, the whole works. All I had to do was supply the parts. And kind of a friend, good guy, does good work. But after I got it back, I had driven it for about less than 500 miles, we'll say. And I didn't have any problems with it. I was fine. And then I had to take the car off the road for some other issues. And when I did, I had done an oil analysis sample. I think it was with AMSOIL or Lucas. I can't remember which one. And they sent me back a note saying this engine has severe bearing wear and that I should not be driving it any further without replacing the bearings. So I had totally forgotten that. But my main reason for tearing it down was because I had never gotten any kind of a spec sheet on the ring gap telling me what the true gap is on the rings. And watching Richard Holdener's videos on turbos, one of his big things is you got to have plenty of ring gap. More is better than little. So I was going to tear the engine down and do the rings, so I said, okay, good excuse to get in there and do it. So when I tore it down, I did find that all my bearings were really worn. I don't know the true cause. I don't know if I didn't spin the pump before I assembled the engine, or not assembled, before I put the belts on it and put it back in the car, or if he didn't put enough bearing lube on, or assembly lube on it. So something was screwed up in there. Anyways, they were all standard bearings, so I was just able to get new bearings for it, put it back together, and I've got plenty of assembly lube on it now. And I also checked all my tolerances, so they're all well within specs. The rings, I'm glad I checked them. They were between 16 and 20 thousandths on the ring gap, so I had to open up all the ring gaps to 22 thousandths. That's on the first and the second ring. And then putting it back together wasn't too bad. It's just a matter of more waiting for parts than anything. So it's back together. The transmission that was usually the nightmare of working on these engines, is pulling the tranny and getting it to go back in without having to fight it. And I changed the flywheel back to the new one that I had bought from Turbos Unleashed, and it has the lightened areas on it. So I'm really happy with the looks of this and curious to see what it's going to do. I had previously had a Fidenza aluminum wheel on there, but that has some burn spots on it because I had a clutch issue with it. So this is a much better looking flywheel. I think I'll be happy with it. And the tranny couldn't have gone on much easier. My wife helped me. It was a 5-minute job and we were done. Even she was impressed. So at this point, it's ready to go back in the car. It's the middle of January, and I'm way behind schedule, but that shouldn't surprise anybody who's been watching my videos. So I'll keep you posted.